Hello there. Our Prime Minister may have experienced a politically bruising day yesterday, leaving many Brexiteers worried. But it might actually have strengthened their hand. With claim and counterclaims circulating over the supposed deal that Theresa May was about to sign that effectively kept at least part of the UK in the EU via the back door, her Tory politicians have been engaged in a massive rearguard clearing up exercise to try and limit the damage of the rumour feeding frenzy that has resulted. Since the story broke that the PM was going to sign the UK up to having some sort of regulatory matching with the EU across the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, there have been claims across the board, from one extreme saying that the leaked wording had already been turned down by the Prime Minister, to the other saying that the pen was poised in the PM's hand over a 15-page agreement document, but only a phone call from the DUP leader, Arlene Foster, prevented her from signing it. Yesterday, the Brexiteers may have been worried about some sort of sellout, but today the government has been forced to come out and state quite clearly that no part of the UK will be treated differently from another during this process. In Brexit questions today in the House of Commons, the Shadow Secretary of State for Brexit, Keir Starmer, was granted permission to ask an urgent question about the breakdown in the talks yesterday and accused the government of letting the DUP tail wag the Tory dog. He also asked what kind of message this was sending the EU. The Brexit Secretary David Davis said that progress had been made with the talks and stated that it was emphatically not the case that any part of the UK would be left inside the single market or customs union after Brexit. During the session, Jacob Rees-Mogg asked the Brexit Minister, "Does my right honourable friend share my sense of gratitude to our friends in the Democratic Unionist Party, who have helped Her Majesty's government stick to its own policy in these negotiations, and is it not essential that the red lines on maintaining the United Kingdom and on regulatory divergence whence the benefits of leaving come are indelible red lines?" Now I call that putting the boot into the current incumbent of number 10. You'd think he had Tory leadership ambitions, wouldn't you? The next 4 days are now seen as crucial for the PM to get an Irish border deal together in time for her to put forward a final deal to the EU prior to the December summit at the end of next week. Conservative MP Ben Bradley, though, has asked us all not to take anything we read, see or hear about Brexit in the press for granted. Writing in Brexit Central, he says that these negotiations, just like any other, are done in secret, so only the very few know the real truth. The rest of us must therefore hold our nerve and ignore the short-term PR battle, he opines. Sounds to me a bit like a Tory trying to get us to close ranks round his leader and trust her to deliver. Well, I for one am mighty glad that the DUP leader reacted in the way she did. Whether or not Theresa May was about to sign away part or all of the UK is immaterial now, because we have today received assurances that not only are we leaving the single market and customs union, but also that the whole of the UK will leave them on exactly the same terms. This should put a very large and heavy wrench in the machinations of those like Blair, Cable and Soubry, who keep either wanting to reverse Brexit or at least keep the EU and ECJ strings as tightly attached to us as possible, so allowing a reversal at a later, more opportune time for them. I hope that all Brexiteers will continue to examine every move made by this government to ensure that not only is a full and proper Brexit achieved, but also that the government remains in no doubt about the continuing strong feeling that Leavers have over this issue. Moving on, in a piece for the Red Cell, author and policy advisor William Norton lays out his view of the impact of Brexit on the finances of the EU. He starts by pointing out that there will be an £11 billion black hole for them to fill, and that although they could partly fill it by charging tariffs on UK imports, that would be a poor and temporary fix. They will also need to look at whether they increase spending, decrease spending, or increase member state contributions, around which member states have different priorities. In the paper, he gives us some national winners and losers in differing scenarios, showing that for some, a trade deal with the UK is important, but not for others. This might make it far from easy for the EU to actually agree anything between them at the end of the day. Here's the breakdown. Germany is much better off in immediate financial terms if the EU decides to close the black hole by reducing its spending and couples this with a free trade deal with the UK. In contrast, Italy and France are less badly hit if the EU opts to increase member contributions and does not reach a deal with the UK. Spain will suffer badly in relative financial terms, irrespective of which post-Brexit outcome is followed. It will either become a net contributor to the EU budget or see its net receipts more or less eliminated. The country's least worst results occur if the black hole is closed by increased member contributions. Ireland will also suffer fairly badly in relative terms whatever happens, but it will incur absolutely punishing burdens if no UK-EU trade deal is reached. A large potential there for cracks to widen in the coming months, don't you think? In other news, the Office for National Statistics has today issued the 2017 estimates of the UK national balance sheet, which shows that at the end of 2016 the total net worth of the UK was estimated to be £9.8 trillion, which is an increase of £803 billion on 2015 and the largest annual rise on record. So, what do you think of yesterday's debacle? Do you think it might have forced the government to take a harder line? Please let us know in the comments below. Thank you. Please do like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel. And when subscribing, please do remember to press on the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get an alert every single time I put up a new video. Thank you very much for watching.